We are here with the multi-platinum producer, Nabeyin.
Sir, it's your boy.
He's doing a lot of great things out there in the industry.
I'm cool, man. Just trying to stay cool in this super hot ass weather, but making it through. How you feeling?
Doing good, doing good. Good to see you doing great as well. Just want to ask you, what's the present life been for you since COVID-19? What's been going on these days with that?
Man, uh, it was rough. It was off to a rough start because I know for like the first 2 months, I was just trapped in my room trying to create, and it's just hard creating when like you're looking at the same four walls every single day, and like I was so used to traveling to like sessions and creating in different places, so that always kept like the inspiration going and stuff like that. But it sort of died down once COVID started. Everything got shut down. Nobody was really having sessions anymore, and I also wasn't trying to be out and about around people, and so yeah, it was a struggle. Like it went from no inspiration to lack of motivation to even want to do music, and then I just had to like take a step back and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna do music that I've never really tried, or like stuff that actually inspires me, as opposed to just focusing on making beats for like record placements. And then that's when everything started to like move for me again.
Now let's kind of go back on, the start of your career. Your inspirations, Wonder, Jay Dilla, Michael Jackson. How have all those artists played a big inspiration to you in your career?
Man, so Ninth Wonder, it's really just the sound. Like, so I grew up on Michael Jackson. My parents tried to keep me away from hip hop for as long as they could until I actually discovered what it was when I was like 8, 9 years old. But I don't know, Michael Jackson, like a lot of his music always just puts me like in a certain vibe or a certain mood. Like a lot of his rhythms, a lot of his mainly like a lot of the Jackson 5 stuff. Like when I was a lot younger, I used to always practice trying to like play drums to a lot of Jackson 5 records, like on boxes, and I would have two hangers, and I would just try to figure out like the drum rhythms of that. So I guess that sort of like helped me with my drum balance as I got older. And Ninth Wonder, anyone that's listened to like a lot of my earlier stuff knows that like I was really big on sampling and chopping records. So yeah, I used to get called like, "Oh, you sound like a little Ninth Wonder or a baby Ninth Wonder," and like the compliment was dope for like at first, but then I was just like, "Damn, man!" So I really don't have a sound because I just sound like the next guy. But it's always an inspiration. And then Dilla, just the way he chops samples, and like he's just very creative and intuitive with like a lot of the records he's chopped and the way he goes about chopping records. I always found that like very interesting. So yeah, those are my three influences when I first started out.
Now, for you, when was your realization that you realized you were going to be a music producer?
When I was 16 years old. It's a funny story. I feel like my brother was lying, but he had this friend named Bazaar. He that he used to rap with back in Ghana, but now he goes by Blitz the Ambassador. And so he used to work with like Dead Prez and I guess Common and Kanye and a bunch of other artists. And so my brother was like, "Oh yeah, Blitz said to send him some beats." And so I sent him like 4 or 5 beats, and he said that he was in the studio with Kanye. And then he was like, then my brother was like, "Oh yeah, they heard the beats. They said Kanye said that they were dope and to keep working." But like now that I'm looking back at it, I was like, "Yo, he probably just is saying that just to like gas me up." Like he probably was never in the studio with Kanye or any of that. And so shoot, my whole career basically just started on a lie, a little white lie. So shout out to my older brother, whether that story was true or not, because I probably wouldn't be taking this seriously.
So, what's it been like for you uh, growing up in San Bernardino, California?
Man, like growing up out there, I didn't really, it never seemed bad until I got older. And it was like the city just kept getting worse and worse. And like we used to be thirsty for the turn up when I was younger. So we would always go to parties knowing that it would get shot up, this and that. And then, eventually we just stopped going to parties. But there's a lot of talent in the Dino, but nobody really has like the look. Like so the music industry is basically in LA. That's the closest thing for us is LA. And so it's like you get some people that'll support you in the IE, but it's like you can only go so far in the IE. It's like you have to branch out, you have to travel away and make a name for yourself everywhere else. And so honestly, like the IE has a lot of dope talent. Like I'm sure you've heard of Audio Push, Hit Boy obviously is from the IE. Then we also got Curtis King, Noah James repping the IE as well. And yeah, I'm just trying to do my part to like put the city on however I can.
Knowing that you've had a lot of success being a multi-platinum producer, let's just say that wasn't your career. What do you think your career would have been?
I would probably be in the film industry because I actually have my bachelor's degree in film production and a minor in photography. But honestly, that was like, all right, so I'm Ghanaian, and so everyone knows that African parents are really strict on education and your job choices. So when I first started going to school, before I even graduated high school, my parents were like, "What do you want to do in college?" I didn't have the option of do I want to go to college or not. It was pretty much what college are you going to? What are you going to major in? And so I told them I wanted to do music, and they were just like, "No, you're not doing music. Do something else. You can either do nursing, engineering, or something in business management, or you could be a lawyer." And so I was just like, well, I kind of like computers, so I guess I'll do computer engineering. So I did that shit for 2 years. It didn't work out. I had to talk with them. Like I had asked for my release forms for track because I was going to transfer to a whole nother school on my own and just get into the music program on my own. And they're just like, okay, okay. That's when they realized like how serious it was and how miserable I was doing like, the computer engineering stuff. And so, yeah, honestly can't say. I think it would be film production, but if I had no desire to do music, I probably would be doing computer information systems. I'm not sure. It would be either out of that or video.
As I mentioned before, you're a multi-platinum producer. You've worked on three top songs. No Smoke, which is featured by The Game, Miguel, and Travis Barker. Drake, Nothing Into Something, and Nav, St. Laurenttt. What have those experiences been like?
Man, honestly, like the game, a West Coast legend. So that was a crazy feeling in itself. Drake, also another person. I basically like I consider him a legend as well. Like when it's all said and done, and he's done with the rap game completely. That guy's definitely gonna be a legend. But that experience felt very surreal, just for the fact that like it happened so early in my career. I wasn't expecting to have a Drake placement like so quickly, and it sort of just like randomly happened because that idea was for like a completely different artist. And then I remember Nizzy of Wallace Lane ended up hitting me up like, yo, we got one with Drake. I didn't believe it, even when the track listing and stuff came out. Like I was in disbelief until I actually heard it being played on OVO radio, because the first time he played the album, he streamed it on OVO radio on Apple Music, and that's when like it all just started to sink in. So that was a crazy feeling. And the Nav joint, it was dope. And then I was even more hyped about it when it ended up going number one on Billboard. So yeah, that was also a really dope experience.
Not only have you just worked with those artists, you've worked with a lot of other artists too. Dave East, Nas. I'm sure the list goes on from there. What has those experience been like for you?
Man, so honestly, it really just depends on like the placement. It's like a story for how every placement happened. I know I think Super Miles was in the lab with Dave East or someone in his camp, and he was like, "Send me a pack to play for him." And so I sent him a pack, and he was like, "Yeah, Dave East is rocking with this one, but they just want to switch up the drums on it. So I was like, all right, bet. Like I'm gonna give you the stems. Like you feel me? Like you do your thing, take it to the next level. So that's how that one happened. And then with the Nas record, it was it's on the Half a Mil album. So I remember I was texting. I randomly text Hit Boy like a year ago, and I was just like, "Yo, you in your rapper bag?" And he hit me back like, "I'm always in my rapper bag." And I was like, "All right, bet." So I sent him like 7 or 8 beats, and he recorded to City on Lock like literally the next day and sent it back to me. But it was just him and Dom on it. So then I found out that Nas ended up getting on it like a week before, like it was supposed to come out, and I was just like, "Nah, there's no way." Like I'm not believing that because like Nas is my favorite rapper of all time, and so it was just crazy to believe that like I actually got Nas on the record. So yeah, it's been pretty surreal.
So, what can you say would be your future goals that you have in mind right now in your career?
Let's see, future goals for my career. I definitely need a Grammy. Um, I definitely want to open up my own studio, which we're in the works of right now. And I've always wanted to figure out how I could put on other artists from the IE. So I'm definitely going to be working on a lot of IE based projects. And it's like the bigger my name gets, like, the more I'll be able to give exposure to artists in the IE through my platform as well. So that's another thing. And hopefully like later on down the line, I'll be able to sign my own artists and producers on top of me working with all of my favorite artists as well.
Being that you're a multi-platinum producer, you've worked with a lot of great artists. Wale, The Reason, Rich the Kid. You also work with Tink. You also work with Boogie. Knowing that you've gotten those production credits, I mean, do you have any memorable experiences?
And probably my favorite experience had to have been working on the Live 95 joint for Boogie with Kiel, because that record literally happened for me like teaching Kiel how to make a sample beat in FL Studio because he uses Ableton. And so, FL Studio users and Ableton users always sort of have this back and forth war going on low key. But I was just like, yeah, bro, like it's super easy to like chop samples in FL. And so I literally was just like guiding him on what to do. And then he was just chopping it up on my MPD. And then I just did the drums right there and we were just going back and forth. And then Boogie was just writing to the whole song in his head. Next thing I know, like I go back over there 2 days later, and they play me the record, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. It's like out of all the stuff that like I worked on for Boogie, like that was the one that stuck, and like I felt like it damn near was an accident. Like we weren't even like really aiming to like, well, we kind of were aiming to like make stuff for Boogie, but it wasn't like it wasn't the same feeling as it was with everything else. Like this was like really organic the way it happened, I guess, with that record.
And since COVID-19's been going on, I know it's been affecting a lot of producers, especially with like studio time and getting artists in.
For me personally, I've been working on G Perico's album. We finished up Reasons Project. That's done. I've also been working with this boy group. I can't speak much on that right now. Been working on stuff for J Rock, a lot of the TDE members. Outside of that, once my studio ends up being finished, I'm going to start working on an R&B project and a based project pretty much only dealing with the artists in the IE, so and producers as well. So I'm just gonna be working with like my favorite producers and artists out of the IE. Try to use my platform to help bring them up.
And in your career, who are you most thankful for?
Definitely my brother. He's the one that taught me how to make beats. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing music. Straight up. Well, first off, shout out to God because obviously without him, none of this is possible. Then shout out to my bro Ogash Leotis. Shout out to the whole IE, Golden West, Wallace World, all of that, all the homies. They know what it is.
We're here with the multi-platinum producer, Nabeyin. And when I say thank you for your time and wish you all the best of your career.
Oh, thank you, thank you.